guys, in this video I'm going to go over what to do when you fall off, what to do when you lose your confidence, what to do when you don't believe that you're him anymore. I don't have any script prepared for this. This is straight off the dome, straight from the heart. So if you mess with these kind of videos, please let me know down in the comments and I'll try and push them out. Just more heart to heart stuff, just genuine conversations. So I'm going to start this off with a story. A couple weeks back, I went out with some of my friends. We went to a party, and one thing that should be known is with my friend group, I have built this kind of reputation where I'm usually the one giving out advice. I'm usually the one that's telling like my guy friends today, hey, be yourself. Go talk to that person if you're feeling them. And if they're not feeling you, so what? That didn't have any impact on your inherent value. You're still you. You're still great. It's just they weren't interested. So that's usually the kind of advice I like to give to my friends. And it's advice that I truly stand behind. I feel so strongly behind this message that I actually created a video on how to be him and just basically teaching guys this mentality thing. You know, the way that you view yourself is very important. It doesn't matter how other people see you. You just gotta have that strong, unwavering confidence in yourself and you will go far in life. But I can't sit here and tell you that it's super easy. You know, it's easier said than done. And this story is one of those times where it really gets called into question and you really get to see how you actually fare in those circumstances. So the night's progressing. I should mention that this is a Caribbean party, so there is a lot of dancing with other people and stuff like that. That's usually how it goes. And I see this person who, you know, I thought they were attractive, and you know, I was feeling them a little bit. This wasn't a random person. This was someone that I actually knew, but not like super personally, more of just like I spoke to them a few times. And I was like, you know what? I should take my own advice. I should go shoot my shot. And as soon as that thought hit me, bro, this fear started to sink in. I started to attach myself to the outcome instead of the usual habit that I would have of saying, you know what? If something comes out of it, cool. Something doesn't come out of it, well, at least I went for it, you know? But I got stuck in the trap of being attached to the outcome, trying to think, okay, so what am I gonna say? How am I gonna approach her? And all of this and that, right? Getting in my own head. As I'm over here debating in my head what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna say, I started to get frustrated with myself. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? This is not you. This is not how you operate, bro. Tarek, I know, the person I know, the him that I know, he would have just said, what the hell? You know, go and say something. Just say something. Say anything. Put yourself out there. And if it doesn't work out, big whoop. As I'm going through these mental gymnastics, some other dude, random dude, comes in, starts chatting up, and they walk off. You know, probably went to the bar or something. It doesn't even matter. It really doesn't even matter. What the? Every time I record a video, this happens. I want it to be absolutely clear. I am not looking for any sympathy. Keep your sympathy, right? I'm not sad about the situation or anything like that. But what I'm about to say next has nothing to do with the guy, has nothing to do with the girl. But I was disappointed in myself. As a guy, you really can't be mad at these things. It's the name of the game. You know, you snooze, you lose. One of the most basic things you learn in like preschool, right? But I was disappointed in myself. It was not about the girl anymore. It was not about the guy anymore. It was about me. And I said to myself, you are out here saying all these things, preaching all these things to your friends and to people online, trying to encourage them and say, you know what? Be confident in yourself. Be you. Have faith in you. And just have that mentality that no matter what, you are him. And here I am sitting licking my own wounds about my missed opportunity. But it wasn't even about the missed opportunity anymore. It was the fact that in that moment, I fell off. In that moment, I wasn't him. I wasn't me. I wasn't confident in myself. I didn't have that strong belief that was lifting me up. That foundation that I had built saying, you know what, no matter what happens, I'm good. I'm good with myself. I know what I got to offer. All of that crumbled away in an instant. I said to myself, what just happened? I was baffled. I truly spent the rest of that night just thinking, pondering. My friends instantly saw a shift in my mood and it was like, hey, what's wrong? And I was like, bro, I just wimped out. This is not in character for me. And I started to beat myself up for that. I genuinely started to beat myself up. I was like, who do you think you are? You know how the devil gets in your head, man. It starts to just like prey on your insecurities, or this is why this happened, or you did this and that's why you didn't feel this way, or they weren't feeling you like that anyway, or whatever type of thoughts that the enemy might try to put in your head. And I literally forgot who God made me to be. You know, I forgot that God made me as a person who is always enough. I am always enough because he created me like that. But I started to question it. I thought this would be a perfect learning opportunity or teaching opportunity to everyone out there who has this idea of themselves, right? We all have this personal self-image. You know, sometimes for people it's good, for some it's bad, but I like to try and focus on the good. But one of the things that I had almost outlined in my character, the character that I had written for myself, was that I was above fear. I believed I was above fear. And to be put in a situation where that idea was shattered, I felt ashamed. I felt ashamed and I was down. And it could be a similar situation for somebody else out there. Maybe you said to yourself, I'm above this habit. I'm not going to partake in this habit anymore. And then you fall into it and you say, wow, I really fell off. I really slipped up. Or maybe in your mind, you have built yourself up to be invincible to certain things. Maybe you think that you're invincible to harsh comments or harsh criticism from other people. And then just one day it just hits you a little bit harder than it should. First thing that I want you to understand may hit hard. And it may almost seem like negative in a way, but I feel like this was something that really needed to hit me and I really need to digest this. How unfair it is for you to put these unrealistic, superhuman standards on yourself. And maybe for you, it might just be that you expect yourself not to engage in a specific activity, or you expect yourself not to feel a certain way when something happens. That type of pressure that you put on yourself is almost crippling at times. The reason it's unfair is because you would never put that pressure on somebody else. I can personally attest to the fact that I would never have put that much pressure on one of my friends in that situation. I probably would have just went up to them and told them, it's like, hey man, you know, it sucks, but you're human. How can you put yourself above being human? And it really humbled me, you know. It really humbled me to think that it was like, hey, you really think you are really judging yourself on invincibility standards. Everybody on this earth, every single person to some degree has a fear of rejection, has a fear of someone telling them they're not good enough, has a fear that they're gonna mess up, fear that they're gonna fail. Every single person on this earth has to deal with that. Yet you are putting this pressure on yourself to be superhuman, to be above it all. How unfair that must be to you. So what do you do when you're in this position? What do you do when you fell off? You're sitting in this pool of self-pity, trying to figure out how you're going to get back to the person that you thought you were. The first thing I had to do was remind myself of who I was. And above all things, I am human. There are going to be times when I fall off. There are going to be times when I don't have that bulletproof confidence. There are going to be times when I'm not as skilled as I think I am. There are going to be times when I fail. There are going to be times when I slip up. There are going to be times when I slip into certain temptations. There are going to be times when I slip into certain habits that I said that I would never do again. There are going to be times where you mess up. That is part of being human. Despite all of that, I also know that when I do fall, when I do mess up, that I have a past, I have receipts, I have a history of getting back on the horse, not staying on the ground when you've been kicked down there. So what I started doing is I have a list on my phone where I list off everything that I like about myself. Some of them are physical, some of them have to do with my personality and whatnot. But when you're in this state of thinking that, hey, yo, I'm less than, you really need something to pick you back up and remind you of who you are, because it's hard to think of something when you're in that mental, emotional state. So I always find that helpful, and I don't think anybody is above this. No matter how hard you think you are, no matter how impenetrable you think you are, no matter how invincible you think you are, there are going to be times where you think a little bit less than yourself. And gonna be times where you're like, dang, maybe I'm not him. No, and I would be selling you dreams and I would be selling you lies if I told you that I always feel like I'm on top of the world. That's not it. The thing that separates the people who are him and the people who are not him is that when the people who believe that they're all that, or I wouldn't even say believe that they're all that, recognize the positive aspects of themselves. When they recognize the positive features in who they are and they choose to look on those rather than the negative ones, they recognize their value, they're devoted to pushing themselves in life. The difference between these people and the people who are not him is that when they go through these times, when we go through these times of thinking that we're less than or we've been knocked down, we don't stay there. We get up. And I think you're one of those people too. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video trying to better yourself, or you wouldn't be in this community of men trying to improve themselves, not only just physically, but also mentally. You wouldn't be on that journey if you weren't trying to better yourself, right? Everybody gets knocked down. But the people who think that they're him, the people who recognize the value in themselves, they don't want to stay there. And they're going to try to elevate. Another thing that I found helps when you think that you've fallen off is going into the practice of journaling. Writing down your thoughts, tracking your emotional state, because sometimes it's really just you're in a moment. You're in a moment and you're applying that one moment to your entire life. So what? You slipped up, bro. Weren't as perfect as you originally wanted to be. So what? You can't let this one moment define your entire life. No, so write it down. Get to the root of it. Why do you really feel this way? Oh, I feel this way because when I was young, my parents put this pressure on me to be perfect. And I applied that to myself. And now whenever I slip up, I really feel down about myself, right? Get to the root of it, bro. Don't let that control you. And if it gets, a little bit overwhelming sometimes, you could always lean on your friends, man. I hope that you have those genuine friends who, when you come to them with these stuff, they're not judging you. They're there to help you. They're there to remind you of who you are. I believe every person needs someone like that. No man is an island. All right? But one thing that definitely helps is writing it down. Or do the shadow work, bro. Get to the root of those issues. Sometimes you'll find that it really was just a moment that had you thinking that way, or it was the way that you perceived how an event happened. I don't want this video to get too long, but I really hope that this helps somebody out. We're all human. How unfair it is for you to put that kind of pressure on yourself to never fail, to never be afraid. That's what I did to myself. I thought that I was above fear. And I truly think that God used this as a teachable moment for me to be humble, to embrace humility, right? Being confident is a good thing. Being confident is a really good thing, to recognize the positive things about yourself and to not downplay them. But I think in a certain sense, we also have to remember the fact that we're not perfect. We're not a comic book character that has 10 writers writing out your story and making sure that everything you say fits in the line of your character. But everything that you say fits with a certain image. I was like, okay, this is what's in character for you. You're human. Okay, so my advice to you is just be a little more gentle with yourself. We all fall down. But the important thing is we decide to get up. And if you like this video, you might actually like this one, so I advise you check it out. That's all for me, and I'll see you guys in the next video.